Okay, sorry. Do you listen? Sorry for the disturbance.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, because of the technical glitches, suddenly it went off. So now the presentation is on budget estimates and accounts. I told you this is about the blend of the theory and practice. We're all commerce teachers. We want to apply whatever we teach and learn in the classrooms that will be applied to the practical world. So this is one. The aim of this presentation is to understand how universities and colleges prepare budget. We have taken the example of Karnataka Universities Act. Universities Acts are different for each state, but overall, I think we see the similarities in the provisions of the Universities Act. Second aim is to how accounts are maintained for the budgeted amount. Third one is acts and rules to be followed. These are the three objectives of this presentation. This is Karnataka State Universities Act 2000. Just I highlight some of the provisions related to accounting provisions. These provisions are similar in other states also. Karnataka State Universities Act has got different sections. Some sections deal with university funds and accounts. Section 46 of the Karnataka State Universities Act says about university funds. We don't have any central act for these universities because it is governed by the state government acts. Section 46(1), the amounts received from any of the following sources shall form the part of the university fund. It may be applicable to college also because college and universities go together. Number one, income for the university is any contribution or grant made by the UGC and the central government. First source of revenue. Very specifically, Act says that you receive this grant, maybe autonomous grant, research grant, building grant, etc. Or directly from the central government means the MHRD or DST, they give grant directly to the universities and colleges. 46(1)(b), any contribution or grant made by the state government. Usually it consists of salary grant, pension grant. And in some cases it gives the grant for building also. And the third source of income for university is any donation, endowments or other grants made by the private individuals to the institutions. Donations, cash prize grant, gold medal, endowment lectures, endowment chairs, etc. This is three types of university funds, one from central government, another from state government, another from private individuals and people will give. And D, 46(1)(d) says that the income received by the university from fees and charges. We collect fees from the students, those who are studying PG, UG and PhD students. Any contribution or donation from the industries, traders or entrepreneurs. Because we have got ATG encourages the donors to give donations to the NGOs, non-profit organizations. We can get the contributions from donors. Any contribution or endowments from the foreign governments or foreign institutions, companies subject to the law for the time being in force. F says that you can also receive foreign contributions. This is as per FCRA Act. We have got a central act called Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. If we want to receive any contribution from foreign donors, we have to be registered with the FCRA Act and we have to get the amount from that donors and we have to account for under FCRA Act. Means we have to submit the annual return under FCRA Act. And amount received from other sources. These are all the sources of funds for university. These university accounts will classify the funds into two categories. One is restricted funds, another one is unrestricted funds. Central government, state government funds, endowment funds are always restricted funds. Means we have to utilize the funds for which it has been released. Suppose if you divert the funds, we call it as a diversion of funds and deviation. CAG auditor will object. He will not allow it to divert the funds. Means a salary grant cannot be converted into building grant. Funds generated by the university college from internal sources are unrestricted funds. All colleges and universities are collecting fees from the students. Some portion of the fees will go to government universities. Some portion will remain with the university colleges. This is which say internal sources of funds. These are unrestricted funds you can utilize as per the provisions of the university syndicate or academic council or finance committee decisions. Section 46(2) says that the fund generated by the university should be kept in a scheduled bank. or maybe invested in securities authorized by the Indian Trust Act. I think most of the universities and colleges, they are keeping it in scheduled bank. It may be private sector bank or public sector bank. We are not investing in securities, shares, dividends, shares, bonds, etc., because volatility is there. However, we keep the amount, invest the amount in the form of FDs in the bank or LICs, pension fund, etc. This act allows you to deposit the money in the scheduled bank and invest it in the securities. 46(2), the said fund may be applied for any of the purposes of the university in the manner prescribed by the statutes. How we utilize the funds? Universities are run by statutes. What are the statutes? University is established by the government through the act. It will frame the statutes, and statutes are approved by the governor. Ordinances or statutes. You frame the statute and approve it from the governor. Accordingly, you have to utilize the funds. Section 47 of the Universities Act 2000 of Karnataka deals with annual accounts. This is different from company accounts. 47 subsection 1, annual accounts of the university shall be prepared under the direction of the syndicate. We have two bodies, syndicate, academic council, and finance committee. So syndicate is the supreme body. It should be prepared according to the syndicate, and it should be laid down before the academic council, and it should be approved by the finance committee. And account should be audited by the state control. Audits. There are two audits are there. One is CAG audit and state audit. These two auditors will come and audit the accounts. The accounts audited should be placed before the syndicate or academic council. Thereafter, we have to submit to the state government. State government will present the university accounts and budget before the state legislature. Means it's a part of the government expenditure. Therefore, approval has to be given by the state legislature for university or colleges. Means suppose autonomous grants, or if you get autonomous grant or state government grant, you have to give the proposal and the utilization certificate to the government. And how the annual accounts of the universities are prepared. Universities are following fund system of accounting. Fund system accounting means fund is the base for maintenance of accounts. We have different accounts. Suppose you take the University of Mysore accounts, general revenue account, examination account, sponsored project account, ROSA account, endowment account, like this. How many accounts you can open? For each fund, there's a separate savings bank account. Some universities will maintain the current account. If you open the current account is for the business people, not for universities. We usually use the current account for maintenance of our accounts. This general revenue account is the account in which you put all receipts in this account. Examination account is separate because you collect the examination fee separately. Sponsored project account means suppose a teacher or a professor writes a project to this sponsoring agency, he gets a research project. That will be kept in separate account. RUSA account is RUSA amount given by the MHRD. This is a separate account. Endowment account, any donors who have given money for university, there is a separate account. Like this, in a typical university, maybe in the University of Mysore, we have 40 accounts, type of accounts. There are 40 heads of account. Each new heads of accounts are created as per the government direction, and some are closed. Every year, we close the old some accounts and we open the new accounts. This is as per the requirement of the management of the funds. This is a bird eye view of accounts in our university. And budget estimates, when we have funds, we need to establish a budget. Why budget is required? If you want to utilize the funds, maybe government fund or donors fund or the fund generated by the university, we need to have a budget. Budget is the estimated income and expenditure of the university or a college for the next year. Means from April to March. We are in January. Now we are preparing budget. January, February, March, we have to prepare the budget for the next year. So here in the budget estimates, there are two things. One is estimate the revenue and adjust the expenditure. What is the expenditure of the college or university? Estimate it and adjust your expenditure. Or estimate the expenditure and adjust the revenue. First thing is possible, second thing is not possible. What the government will do? Government will make a expenditure proposal. Accordingly, it will increase or decrease the revenue. But in the university, we cannot levy the tax. We cannot increase the student fees also. There is a cap on the increase in the student fees. In the University of Mysore, we can hike fees only 10% every year. Even there are exemptions are there. Girl students did not pay any fee. This is applicable only to general category students. University cannot borrow loans and levy taxes. Borrowing is not there, not permitted. You cannot go apply the loan and borrow it, and you cannot levy the taxes. Therefore, in the university system of budget preparation and accounts, what is your revenue for the next 12 months? Accordingly, you have to adjust your expenditure. That's why budget estimates plays very important role in university system of accounting. Section 48 of the Universities Act says that budget estimates should be prepared and presented before the Finance Committee, Syndicate, Academic Council for approval in the month of March for the next financial year commencing from 1st April. Autonomous colleges will have these bodies, Finance Committee, Academic Council. They have to prepare and approve it before 31st March, because without proper approval, you cannot spend the money from April. Budget estimates are the detailed estimates of the receipts and expenditure of the university for financial year 22-23. Next year, what is your estimate? This should be prepared. Budget estimates should be prepared in anticipation of the grant. How much grant you are receiving from the government? How do you estimate this? You have to send the proposals to the government in advance, or maybe research proposal, building proposal, etc. Proposal for sanctioning of post, etc. But now the governments are not sanctioning any post. They are not filling the existing vacant post also. Suppose in our university, nearly more than 50% of the posts are vacant, teaching and non-teaching. Posts are not filled. Why posts are not filled? Means there are so many hurdles for this. So they are not creating any new posts. So when we prepare a budget, what is our anticipated grants for the next financial year? You have to estimate either from central government or state government or funding agencies. Sometimes when we estimate, we cannot estimate accurately for 12 months. Sometimes we need to prepare a supplementary budget in the month of October, November, because after 6 months, you will know what will be the probable expenditure and income. You will go for supplementary budget. This is supplementary budget is prepared when you anticipate some extra expenditure or extra revenue for the financial year. Section 48(7) says that there is a need for approval of the budget. The university shall, without the prior approval of the state government, not to divert for purposes earmarked for funds for revised scales of pay. Means pay scales of the colleges and universities cannot be altered when you are receiving any grant from the government. Suppose you are not receiving any grant, you can give the salary, but you cannot alter the pay when you receive the grant. Aided institutions. And also, you have to get the permission from the government, because you are funded by the government. Your salary grant is paid by the government. Your pension grant is paid by the government. Section 5, no prior approval is necessary where a scheme or a program which imposes a recurring liability on the university but funded by the UGC central government went out of the interest derived from the corpus fund. Universities will have corpus fund. Example, corpus fund for the pension. Okay, you need to get the approval. If the state government has not given money, it is your internal sources. You have to get the approval from the syndicate, but not from the government. This is the format of the budget estimates. The format is similar to central government budget to state government budget. We will have a column. First column budget is there. Second column accounts 2021, budget estimate 21-22, 6 months actual expenses 21-22, revised budget estimate 21-22, budget estimate 22-23. You see the last column. We are preparing the budget for 22-23. In the previous column, what is the budget of the previous year, which is revised after considering the supplementary budget? Before that, actual expenses for 6 months for this year, because you don't get the full expenditure of the last year. Okay, and budget estimates of 21-22 of the previous year and accounts of 2021. So if this historical figures, if you see the company accounts, if you look into the annual report of a company, annual accounts of the company will give two columns. One is accounts for the year 2020-22, accounts of the previous year. They don't give budget figures, they don't give columns like this. So we are working in the university and colleges, we should be familiar with the format of the budget. So this is a budget, head is there, accounts is there, budget estimate, 6 months actual expenses, revised estimate. This is the budget for the next year. Here, broadly, we can see two types of components. One is receipt components, another is expenditure component. The difference between the receipts and expenditure component may be deficit or surplus. Mostly in university budgets, we don't have either surplus or deficits. We have to accommodate the expenditure for anticipated receipts. Look into this budget. 22-23 budget head receipts budget estimate. This is an example of our university. In our university, state government grant salary losses we receive 108.59 crores. 108 crores we receive from the state government. State government grant pension 44 crores. University of Mysore is more than 100 years old. We have many pensioners are there. We incur expenditure to the tune of 80 crores. Government is not giving full pension to the university. Government is giving only 50%, less than 50%. Why they are giving less money? Government says that you are generating internal resources. When you are generating internal resources, you have to use some portion of the internal resources to give the pensionary benefits. Suppose you are working in a government college, in a government department, your pension is paid by the AG and your pensionary benefits are paid by the government through AG. But in case of university, it is an autonomous body. Pension liability is of the government, university, and full pension is not given by the state government. We have to contribute from our savings. Okay. This is the expenditure head. The expenditure head is main expenditure of the university is pay and allowances. Pay and allowances are around 141 crores. I think I told you about this. We receive less grant, but we spend more money. Why we spend more money means the entire amount is not given by the state government. Pension 65 crores. General management expenses 5 crores. Teaching, research and extension activities 3.67 crores. Student welfare measures 7 crores. Campus maintenance 2 crores. Examination activities 18 crores. Around 263 crore budget. This is the estimated expenditure for the university for the 22-23. If you see the surplus or deficit, receipts 292, expenditure 263, surplus is 29 crores, surplus is estimated. When you see the actual figures, you don't get this actual amount because it may be, receipts may be less or expenditure may be more. So in the budget document, you get this figure. When preparing the budget, suppose if in a college you want to prepare a budget, first what we have to do, you have to give a code number for receipts and expenditure. How you give the code number? Suppose in case of university, several branches are there: administrative branch, finance branch, examination branch, like this. In a college, there may be different departments: commerce department, economics department, BCom, BA, like this. You give the serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the budget codes. These budget codes are very simple. But if you go to central government accounts, budget codes are running 16 digits, 20 digits. Even the state government also budget digits. I think when you play for salary grant or you prepare a bill, it has a digits. Okay. These are the budget codes. How many budget codes will be there? For each head of the expenditure, we have a serial number. So our university will have around 119 divisions, departments.
Some disturbances are there.
Yeah, someone is speaking. Okay.
Mr. Mohan Kumar, please mute.
Okay. Right. This is as what I said. You have to give a code, a numeric code and a letter code. In the universities and colleges, the numeric code is starting with 0001, means it goes up to 999 codes. It's enough. In a college, suppose if you have a 2-digit code, your expenditure and income items are less than 100, you can give 2-digit code, and you find out the different branches in your college or university and name them. And receipts code, you give the receipts codes, the 001 black grant from the government, pension grant, like this. Around 88 codes are there. Receipts codes for examination fee, separate code, sports fee, separate code, and cultural fee, separate codes. Like this, the fees collected by the students, you identify separate code, you can create the receipts code and account for that. Expenditure code, I have shown it earlier, the divisions. Now salary teaching, salary non-teaching, year encashment, pension, employees contribution to NPS, KSET examination expenses like this, around 350 expenditure codes are there. You simply identify the expenditure code, revenue code, how much revenue the college will get, how much expenditure college will spend, what is the grant from the government, what is the grant from the central government, how much money we are collecting from the students, how much money is given by the donors. Donors may be elected representatives or some alumni, they are giving money. Just you can make a list. After this, universities have to follow fund-based estimate, fund system of accounting. This fund system of accounting is you are opening the fund and you are managing the fund as an entity, separate entity apart from the university. Budget estimates are prepared for each fund maintained through separate bank account. Bank account is the base, fund is the base. Even though university or college is one, accounts are maintained not for a college, but you are preparing it for fund. I think you have studied the business entity concept. As per the business entity concept, person is not important, entity or the organization is important. You are preparing accounts for the entity. But in case of universities, colleges, even though college is an entity, unlike a business entity, you are preparing accounts for fund. You are not preparing as for the entity. Within the entity, you have separate funds. For each fund, there's a separate account. So bank account, fund is the base for maintenance of account. There are different types of bank accounts are there. And University of Mysore has around 22 funds with separate bank accounts. What do you do when you prepare a separate budget for each fund? You consolidate this. Means overall, what is the overall picture? Individual budgets are there for each fund and overall budget is there. Overall budget means you add the expenditure and income of all the funds and create an overall budget, and you come to know that what is the total income and expenditure of the university. This is you prepare a consolidated budget estimate. And we have a different acts and rules. These are all there for in every state. Mainly, we have a financial code. We have central government also, there's a code is there. This GFR, they call it as a GFR, General Financial Rules in central government. In Karnataka, we call it as Karnataka Financial Code, 1958. In each state, we have different codes. Article 3 of the Karnataka Financial Code says that every government servant should see that proper accounts are maintained for all government financial transactions with which he is concerned and render accurately and promptly all such accounts and returns related to them as may have been prescribed by the government, the accountant general, or the competent department authority. Suppose you are holding a position of a principal. It is your duty to maintain the accounts for any receipts and expenditure of the college when you are holding a position of the principal. I think you know that some of the principals who have not maintained the account properly, their pensionary benefits will not be cleared by the AG office. So this is first article says that it is not your personal account. It is the accounts of the college or the university. It is your duty to maintain the proper accounts. You don't say that I don't know, because when you receive a amount, you have to maintain the accounts. Every government servant should realize that the correct maintenance of his accounts is as important as a part of his duties as executive work. You are holding you're a professor in a college, you're holding the HOD of a department, you are holding the position of a principal. Being a teacher is holding the administrative position. It is your responsibility to maintain the accounts. Therefore, knowledge of accounts and financial rules are relevant for discharging the duties of administrative positions. You cannot say that I don't know, because when you come and assume an administrative position in a college or university, you must be sufficiently familiar with the rules. Clerks are very familiar because their work is to do the clerical job. When a professor who occupies the post of principal or vice chancellor, he should be familiar with the financial and accounting rules. Otherwise, he will be misguided or properly guided. If clerks are good, they guide you properly. Otherwise, he may be misguided. Therefore, when you immediately occupy the position of the administrative position, you must know what are the accounts, what are the financial rules, what are the service rules, KCSR rules. All these rules you must be familiar. This is the requirement under the Karnataka Financial Code. And another thing is that he should check the accounts as frequently as possible in order to see that subordinates do not commit fraud, misappropriation, or any other irregularity. So, you know, the bank accounts are reconciled every day. They cannot go to home without reconciliation. But a principal, suppose he is busy with some function, he conduct a function, he incur the expenditure. After 1 week, no accounts has been prepared. After 1 month, no account is prepared. After 1 year also, means you do not delay it. As you are making urgent for conducting functions, you have to immediately settle the accounts and write the accounts and see that accounts are proper. Otherwise, so many frauds and misappropriations will occur. Who is responsible for these frauds and misappropriation is who is holding the administrative position. The government will hold him personally responsible for any loss that he may be found to be due to the negligence of the duties. Suppose if a delay in maintenance of accounts, it is a negligence. This negligence will cost. One may be suspended or dismissed, or audit paras will arise, and pension may not be settled. Like this, so many problems will arise if you are negligent in maintenance of accounts. Government will hold him personally responsible for any loss that may be found due to any neglect of duties laid upon him. Means suppose he is misled, some subordinates will deceive him. He will be responsible. You cannot blame the subordinates. Suppose when you sign a file, put a signature on the check, you must be extra careful whether everything is correct, proper. Then only you can sign the check or approve it, because once the administrative approval is given, the subordinates will execute it and they will say that approval has been given. Whether the approval is proper or not, you have to check it. This is the requirement of financial code. And Article 4 related to the receipts. All transactions to which any government servant in sufficient capacity is party must without a reservation be brought into account. Suppose you have old newspapers, you sold them in the college. Whether the receiver, income received from selling the old newspaper, income received from selling the scrap, a chair has been broken, it is not useful for sitting. You may create a committee, stock verification committee. Stock verification committee will give a report. This chair is not fit for use. Then you decide to sell it. When you sell it, condemnation committee should approve it. Then you should get the receipt in your budget estimate and accounts. You have to deposit it. Means without undue delay, any receipt you receive from the government, from the donors, from selling something, you have to account it. In case of government colleges, you have to deposit in the treasury. In case of private colleges, there are accounts are maintained by the private management, you have to deposit there. In case of universities, you have to deposit directly to the university accounts. All receipts shall be received by cash or check or bank draft. But now I think we have got digital payments. PFMS is there. You use the net banking for payment of money to the beneficiary. Expenditure. Article 40 says that no government servant may incur any item of expenditure from public funds unless the following two conditions are incurred. For receipts, there are no conditions. You receive the fund from any sources, from government, donors, etc. But when you want to spend the money, there are two conditions. Condition number one is the expenditure must have been sanctioned by a general or special order of the authorities competent to sanction fund. Who is the sanctioning authority? Vice Chancellor is a sanctioning authority, or Commissioner is a sanctioning authority. You get the sanction. How you get the sanction? You get the sanction which is approved by the budget. This is number one. Without sanction, you cannot spend the money. Second one is sufficient funds must have been provided for the expenditure in the budget. Without appropriation in the budget, you cannot spend the money. These are the two requirements. One is you can spend the money with the approval of the sanctioning authority. Second one is sufficient funds should be there in the budget or reappropriation. Reappropriation means suppose some head is not, money is not utilized, you can go for reappropriating into some other head and you spend the money. What are the canons of financial propriety? Canons means you have to follow some of the basic rules, fundamental rules of financial propriety, being the head of the organization. Every government servant who incurs or authorizes the incurring expenditure of public money shall see that it does not contravene the following principles, which are termed as the canons of financial propriety, which shall be observed by all government authorities. Number one, every government servant should exercise the same vigilance in respect of expenditure incurred from government revenues as a person of ordinary prudence would exercise respect of the expenditure of his own money. We are spending our salary. We are very careful. We cannot spend it unnecessarily. Since you are holding the position of a government office or a college, the money at our disposal You are a custodian of the money. Therefore, you must be very careful in spending the money. No authority should exercise its power sanctioning expenditure, pass an order which will be directly or indirectly benefits to advantage. Suppose you are spending money that there cannot be conflict of interest. It should not benefit you or your friend or your relative. Therefore, every expenditure, there should not be conflict of interest. Interest means, suppose I cannot spend the money which will benefit our relatives or friends or family members. We must be very careful regarding spending of the expenditure. And government revenue should not be utilized for the benefit of a particular person or section of the society. Suppose, for example, a claim for the amount could be enforced in court of law. Expenditure is pursued by recognized policy. Means you are spending the money. What you must ask a question, it should not be unduly help someone to get benefit. Another canon is no authority should sanction any expenditure which is unlikely to involve at a later date expenditure beyond its own powers of sanction. There's a delegation of power, delegation of authority. What is the limit of expenditure? It is mentioned in case of government. It is mentioned what is the expenditure limit of a chief minister, cabinet, or cabinet minister, secretary of the department, or commissioner or college principal. I have to see that I cannot sanction 100 crores building myself because what is there. I have to see that who is the authority to sanction the money. I should not go beyond the limit. And especially some of the expenses, traveling expenses granted to meet some expenditure. Usually we go for LTC or some university work. They travel in first class, they climb second class, they climb first class. We should not unduly profit from that. Means you climb the taxi fare, but you go by bus. We have to verify whether the expenditure is proper. Otherwise, there's a benefit in that. The sanctioning authority will be responsible for that. Nowadays, in university accounts, we have gone for digital transactions or cashless transactions. Means cash should be not there in handling our transactions. Government of India, MHRD, UGC, state government, these are cashless transactions. Transaction through cross checks, net banking, online banking, PFMS. Especially in Karnataka, we have very good, robust digital system. All our bills are raised through the digital mode. Payment is more made through the digital mode. Everything, we have a very good treasury system in Karnataka. I don't know in other states. Central government will has a one very important platform for making payment. This is called Public Financial Management System. This is called PFMS. You are familiar. Suppose if you want to get money, RUSA funds or central government funds will be dispersed through PFMS. Under the PFMS, receipts and payments of central government and state governments grants through public financial system. We have a model called EAT model. What is EAT model? E means expenditure, A means advance, T means transfer. Here revenue is not there. Revenue component is not there. Why revenue component is not there? PFMS is used by the state government for the amount sanctioned in the budget for utilization. Therefore, if the central government sanctions project money, research project money, it will come to the state government or it will come to the university directly through the PFMS. We have to register under the PFMS. This is expenditure. What is advance? What is transfer? If the money comes through the hierarchy, suppose money RUSA funds comes to state government will disperse to university. What is the role of the state government? The state government is only a transferring agent, not a expenditure incurring agent. Expenditure is incurred at the grassroots level. State government will only transfer. So we have EAT model, we have got expenditure, advance and transfer. What is advance means? If you want to buy something, sometimes you give advance money. If it is very rare to buy this product, advance is not always permitted in the government system of accounting. Only expenditure is permitted after the collecting the bill, or you can transfer money to some other agency to incur the expenditure. So this is a very important EAT model of PFMS. We come to the income tax also a little bit because administration of a college or university involves provisions of the Income Tax Act. Every college and university should own a TAN number. TAN number means tax. If you want to deduct the tax from the employee's salary, or if you want to deduct the tax from the any payment to the contractors, we need to have the TAN number because TDS is our responsibility, tax deduction at source, and we have to submit the quarterly TDS returns, issue the form number 16 to the employees, those who get the salary, issue the ATG exemption to the donors who give the money to the college or university, and you should also get the section 10 exemption. What is section 10 gives exemption? There's a office called Commissioner of Exemption Income Tax in each state, the capital city. You have to submit an application for Commissioner of Exemptions and get the exemption to section 10. And you should also get the exemption to ATG. Sometimes some colleges have not got it or have not revised it. Means they have to get a new exemption certificate. Then only the employees will get the directions. Another important part is GST. And now the invoice with the GSTN number. For any expenditure you want to make payment, GSTN number is compulsory. You have to verify whether GSTN number is there or not. And TCS or revenue collection. What is TCS? Tax collection at source. Some colleges will collect money from the auditorium. They rent out the auditorium, sports ground for conducting some event, or there may be a swimming pool. You collect the money. Whenever you generate revenue from the sources, means your auditorium, your sport ground, or you may give some of the building as a rent to the people. The GST says that you have to pay the money for any receipts. So for this is called TCS. We have a swimming pool in our university. We collect 50 rupees in a summer vacation from the students. We have to collect the GST and remit to the GST office because it is an income to us. No GST for the income from the students. If you collect a student's examination fee, student tuition fee, sports fee, cultural fee, no GST, they are exempted. Suppose if you collect rent from for ground, your sports ground, then you have to pay the GST. Monthly submission of GST returns. Every month you have to submit the GST returns. There are two types of return. One is TDS. If suppose you have collected the GST on behalf of some person, you have to remit it. And again, you have to see that whether GST has been paid by the contractor. Suppose you conduct an annual day, you arrange food from the caterer. A caterer has paid the GST or not, you have to verify. Because caterer will submit a bill without GST. It is not acceptable. And again, a caterer, TDS should also be done. You have to deduct the tax and make the payment. And return should be submitted. I don't know how many colleges will do this, but this is a compliance. We have to follow these rules because this is a college or university should follow the GST rules. They should follow the income tax rules. They should follow the financial code rules apart from KCSR and all these things. How to prepare the bills? Normally we have type of bills, abstract bill, AC bill. If you want to draw advance before expenditure, this is we say AC bill. For that you have to pay a detailed contingent bill, DC bill. Suppose you want to conduct a annual day function, you have to draw the money from the bank. The money is there. What normally you do, you write the check and draw the money. There is no proof for that. You have to prepare a bill called AC bill and draw the money. And after that, you have to prepare a DC bill, ADC bill and settle it. And TADA bill, you are all familiar with the TADA bill. Remuneration bill for evaluation purpose and work bills. Suppose you conduct any repair work for the college building, construction work, you have to do work bills. These bills are separate and accounting rules are different for these things. Means income tax rules, accounting rules, GST rules are different. Being the principal of a college, you must be familiar with how to prepare these bills and this. And we have a legislative committees. University accounts, in case of companies, shareholders are kings. All accounts are approved by the board of directors, approved by the annual general body meeting. That's enough. But in case of universities, who is the competent authority? There are two types of committees are there in every state government and also central government. Public Accounts Committee, PAC, and Paper and Letter Committee. Public Accounts Committee is a very powerful committee, usually headed by the opposition party senior leader. Suppose in Karnataka BJP government is there means this committee is headed by the either Congress leader or JDS leader, opposition leader. Why means he's a watchdog. This public accounts committee, AG office members are there, opposition party MLAs are there, ruling party MLAs are there. All accounts are presented before the public accounts committee. Audit reports are presented. They scrutinize it. Then only it will go to the state assembly. And another committee is there, paper and letter committee. Paper and letter committee means each college and university are required to present or submit some papers, some reports to the government. For example, budget should be prepared, accounts should be prepared and submitted. Whether budget has been prepared, approved, submitted, accounts have been prepared, annual report of the college should be presented. Like this, what this committee will see that whether accounts have been prepared properly or not to submitted. These are the two important committees. Colleges and universities are responsible for this. The CAG audit. So this is a very important organization, CAG. They do two things. One is maintenance of accounts of the government and government bodies. Second one is audit of accounts. So two separate wings are there. Government accounts are maintained by AG office accounts and government accounts are audited by AG audit wing. They maintain very good accounts. Means suppose even Paisa is also maintained by them. Accurate accounts have been maintained by the CAG in respect of all accounts and audit reports, CAG audit paras. We have to be very careful because all paras will go to public accounts committee for scrutiny. This is my presentation of this budget and accounts of universities and colleges. This is a general presentation applicable to colleges and universities. If you have any questions, you please raise.
We don't have any governing body, sir. Only syndicate is the power.
In case of universities, syndicate, academic council, and finance committee, they will be different. Sometimes we call it the boards governing body like this. In each
in autonomous colleges, we have a governing body. Which
Yeah,
is
yeah. In universities,
finance committee is there.
yes.
Whereas this academic body, academic council, they look only into the academic aspects.
No, even finance also. Finance budget and account should be laid out before the academic council.
Okay.
They focus on academic activities, but approval should be given. Even budgets are presented before the academic council because it's a larger body.
But in autonomous colleges, we have governing body. That is power.
Governing body equal to syndicate.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Sir, one more question, sir. I am Renukaya PS College, Mandya.
Okay.
So my question is, some colleges are collecting donations in addition to the fees.
Okay.
So how will you going to maintain that donation amount, sir?
There are two wings in a private college. One is management and college. They bifurcate this. They collect it and show it in the management account. Management account is different. College account is different. Suppose they collect the donations, management trustees are responsible for them to maintain the accounts. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
In case of student fees, that comes to the principal account.
Yes, sir.
Secretary will collect the donation amount, principal will collect the fees.
Sir, most of the colleges are collecting huge amount of donations. How can able to maintain these types of
they may account or they may not account. You cannot question because most of the colleges are run by political leaders, ministers, MLAs, etc. In case of medical, engineering, everything. So the system comes under the Trust Act, Societies Act. We have a different act.
Yes, sir.
Societies Act, under which they register the society, that they have to submit there, not as per the Universities Act.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, this is Gautam from Assam.
Yes.
Sir, if there is a deficit in the budget, so how the college or university will collect fund?
The first rule is that don't prepare a deficit budget. This is the first rule. You have to adjust your expenditure for expected income. This is the first rule. Suppose you cannot live with the tax, you cannot borrow the money. You see what is your probable income, then you prepare your expenditure.
Okay.
You cannot.
On the basis of your income, that expenditure should be estimated.
Yeah, I show here right the first beginning. I show here budget, university budgets. I can just I have written 3-4 items. Estimate revenue, just expenditure, first one. Estimate expenditure and adjust revenue. Universities, the second one is not possible. Government, it is possible. They increase the tax, they borrow the money. You know, state government has borrowed 1.4 lakh crore debt. But universities cannot borrow the money. Therefore, estimate your revenue, adjust your expenditure. This is the basic principle of preparation of budget.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Suddenly, what happens? Student strength will decrease. Students will not join. We estimate number of students multiplied by fees, etc. Student strength will decrease. Our revenue will decrease. Accordingly, we have to adjust our expenditure.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. This is Praganaishi from Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
I have a doubt relating to the membership membership of public accounts committee, sir. Is that membership restricted to the opponent party members?
Chairmanship is only for opponent party. Chairman of the public accounts committee, deputy chairman is from ruling party, chairman is from the opposition party. Because they have to scrutinize.
Okay.
Suppose if you think that DMK government is there, DMK MLA is a member base, he will agree everything, he will pass everything. Usually, opposition party leader will be there because he's a watchdog. He should verify.
Oh.
And other members are there, members from the both ruling party and opposition party.
On which basis the membership for this committee?
Membership, they have got a legislative rules are there. Legislative, in each legislation there is a rule. This is under the control of speaker. Speaker is there, speaker of the house.
Okay, speaker has the authority to select a member. But on which basis, sir? On which basis?
What is the basis? The strength of the house. What is the strength of MLAs? Suppose we have 222 MLAs in 222 in Karnataka.
Okay.
If around 10% means 20 members, they select.
Okay, that's what I am asking. That 10% on which basis or
which
qualification
qualification is total members in each house. So Congress, how many members are there? JDS, how many are there? Like this, they allocate the membership to the different parties. Suppose in Tamil Nadu, there are many parties are there. They take a proportion composition. Larger party will get more members. Smaller parties will get 1 or 2 or no representation at all.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
You suppose if you, I think I attended the meeting, that's why I'm saying. If you attend the meeting, they will take us to task. They will ask, this is it your money? How you spend the money? It is not spending for your pocket like this. We must be very careful. All IAS officers, everybody, they will not care for anyone. You have to be very careful, especially in public accounts committee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
sir. Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
If any objections are query raised by the HRDC, and what is the time limit to complete?
There are 2 types of objections. One is objections for recovery. Recovery of money. Recovery means we have to recover the money and deposit in the government treasury. Another one is some procedural objections are there. Procedures you are not followed. Time limit means suppose this year, if audit is conducted, immediately you have to set right the objections. But there are many audit paras which are pending. Suppose in a college or university, you cannot because some person has retired, someone has died. How to settle this? So there are so many paras are pending. What the auditors will do, they sometimes lapse of time. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years are there means they condone that. We have to request them to condone. But recovery amount, they don't condone it. We have to set right. That is why some of the pension amount is not settled in case of principals who have some audit objections. CAG audit objections.
Okay, sir. If any representations are given for the students in this committee, sir.
Which committee? Public accounts committee? No, only elected persons.
No, any committee, any
committee. Academic council representatives for academic council. In the universities and colleges, autonomous colleges, academic council, the student representative should be there, not a syndicate and finance committee. Academic matters, students will come.
At actually BOS level, we have a student representative, but at college level, at academic council, only heads of the department.
Students also there. I think we have to see the act provisions in the act, respective universities act. Student representative should also be in the academic council.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is
Yeah.
Devarajan from Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
Sir, apart from the regular contribution by the state government, is any university can get a extra or special fund for construction of any building or acquiring any machinery?
Government is not giving asset generation funds. We call it as asset generation, construction of building, etc. Government is not giving. Government is giving only recurring expenditure, especially salary grant and pension grant. Because in case of a new universities, if the government establish a new university, then only they give the building fund. And how do you raise the money? You have to get it from the central government, some RUSA fund, MHRD funds, etc. But now I think funds are tight with the government. They are not giving generously the funds.
Yes, of course, the RUSA fund is not granted.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, Suresh from Tumkur University, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, year by year, the expenditure position is increasing for every university and college, whereas the revenue position is declining, and the grants from the either the state government or the central government is in the declining stage. This is the trend, it continues, and where the number of universities are increasing by decentralizing, and revenue for the respective universities is almost becoming very minimal.
Yes, yes.
So maybe the 5 years or 10 years from now, how to manage the universities or the colleges?
I fully agree with you, sir. It is very difficult to manage because the trend is what you said, the trend is going in that direction. Very difficult.
Because the revenues are coming down and the pension fund is going to be a highly burden on the part of the universities.
Yes. Financially, universities are weak. They are not strong. Financially, they are not strong. They are very weak. One who occupies the position of Vice Chancellor or Registered Finance Officer is very difficult for him to manage the funds.
Yeah. Because we are not empowered to generate the revenue by way of either enhancing the fees or...
No, it's not at all possible. We are a sandwich revenue and expenditure in the middle. We are there. We cannot increase the revenue. We cannot reduce the expenditure. I fully agree with you. You also have the experience of finance officer.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Suresh was the finance officer of University of Tumkur. He had this experience. I think once we occupy the position of finance officer registrar, we will come to know what is the problem the universities are facing for managing the finance.
Sir, what will be the fee structure fixed for examination?
It varies from universities to universities because how old your university is. In case of new universities, only the cap is that in University of Mysore 10% can be increased for every year. But this is a very meager amount, very small amount compared to private deemed universities. Private deemed universities, the benchmark is very high for fees. Private autonomous colleges is very high. In public universities, fees is very nominal, subsidized. You cannot increase the fees also. Very nominal fee.
Sir, is there any percentage fixed by the government to increase the price?
Government will not fix. Only the general rule is that 10% is the general rule.
Even for tuition fee as well as exam fee.
All fees in government universities, all fees 10% hike. But on the other hand, government is giving exemption to the girl student did not pay the fee, SC student did not pay the fee. They have to give us the grant for that. Once they say that don't pay the fee, collect from the fee from the government student, girl students, they have to give the grant, but they are not giving the grant. That is again burden for the university.
Sir, one question, sir. Most of the autonomous colleges are gaining lot of income. And also the UGC fund, sir. Is the autonomous college are spending properly for the student welfare, sir?
We have to check where the respective management and authorities are responsible for that. That's why, because they receive the funds from the government and also funds from the students. They have to spend it for the income tax rule says that. Suppose if you are, if you go to the income tax act says that if you register under section 10 exemption, 90% of the revenue generated by the college should spend for purpose for which it has been generated. Don't accumulate the funds. You cannot accumulate the funds. You cannot earn the funds. Income Tax Act section 10 says this provision. One example I gave you in Karnataka, VTU, Mysore Technological University, accumulated crores of rupees. Income tax officer come and raided and taken away the entire money. Just you cannot accumulate the funds in colleges and universities. You have to spend the money for the purpose for which it has been collected. This is there. Some colleges will face this problem. University of Karnataka, it has been faced by the VTU.
Particularly government college, autonomous college is not proper use on the fund, sir.
That is why the principal, how dynamic the principal is there. Dynamism. Sometimes they fear, so I cannot use the fund because some audit objective is there like this. Even scholarship amount is not dispersed. So they collect the scholarship from the government. Students went away already. The fund lies with that. But what we have to do in government colleges or private colleges, scholarship amount we receive, it is not utilized. We have to refund to the government. Otherwise, accumulation of funds is a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. It's 5 o'clock. So
Thank you, sir.
I think I'm very happy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
very happy you all come from different states.
Thank you, sir.
Listen to my two.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.